So don't mind me if I repeat myself. These simple lines be good for your health. To keep them crime rhymes on the shelf. Live love life like you just don't care. 5,000 leaders never scared. Rain and noise is the moment they fear.
Make yourself a cup of tea and get your Twitter finger ready. It's Friday, we're live, and it's time for the last leg of the series. Tonight on the show, we try to explain what's going on in the Middle East, give you the inside word on the Commonwealth Games, and we'll be joined on the couch by the cast of the Inbetweeners 2. On the show that's always a cut above the rest. Welcome to the last leg of the show in which three blokes with four legs try to make sense of the week's news. Joining me on the couch as always are the pride of Dartmoor, Josh Widdicombe, and the man who genuinely said out loud this week, "Go on Orlando, give Bieber one from me," Alex Brooker! And look, before we get into the news, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Lovely. I almost didn't make it into the country.
It was almost my moment of glory.
I landed on Monday, and I had that moment where, because, you know, I had to have my visa looked at and everything, and I was told to go and sit down for 15 minutes. And the guy came over to me at one point and went, "Sorry, sir, this is taking so long, but it gives you time to think of a joke for when you come up here."
So I had to then think of who you were, or just...
I'm assuming, unless he just thought, he's an Aussie, make it hard.
Does he do that with every job? Just a chef, go 15 minutes, mate, knock up a souffle.
Well, the thing is, normally I go through customs and they go, "Have you got a joke?" And I go, "I'm really tired." And they go, "You're an idiot, go through." This time, because I had 15 minutes, and I'd just come from a comedy festival in Montreal, and I'd heard lots of jokes, and I thought, okay, what's a quick joke that I can tell? None of them were appropriate. So here's what I did. I went up, gave the guy my passport, and he went, "All right, you got a joke?" And I went, yeah, I've got a joke for you. So this guy's in a doctor's surgery, and the doctor says, "You're going to have to stop masturbating." The guy says, "Why?" The doctor says, "Because I'm trying to examine you."
Do you know what? That's the first joke of the series. That is our first joke of the series. We've really...
Well, the guy just looked at me and went, "Welcome to the country, sir."
See, I went to New York last year, and when we went to go into customs, they have a fingerprint thing. And I was just like... I don't know if the juice is going to be worth the squeeze with this. And I went through, the woman was really nice, and she just said to me, she's like, "Do you know what, just do the thumb, like, and do the one finger." Yeah. And I was like, I went through, but as I was walking past, I just really wanted to go to her. "Well, the joke's on you, love, because you would never guess the crime these little bastards have committed." This one's an Interpol's most wanted.
You'd be great. You'd be brilliant for crime, because you just need two finger puppets.
Kids TV show.
Well, they cross over these days. Let's not get into that so early on.
We really have set the bar high here.
Now, we will be covering the big stories of the week, but something happened yesterday afternoon that caused us to receive more tweets than any other news story of the past 2 years. Paula McGrath said, "Is it okay for someone to throw a prosthetic leg at cabin crew on a flight?" You seem to be aware of this story.
Was she holding the leg about to throw it as she texted?
According to the Edinburgh Evening News, a flight to Edinburgh was diverted to London yesterday after a drunk passenger attacked cabin crew with her prosthetic leg.
Could I be the first before you two to say she was probably legless? Good to be back, thank you very much.
The woman, 48, demanded, quote, "cigarettes and a parachute," before unfastening her leg and swinging it at shocked stewardesses.
I like cigarettes and parachute. I like the idea if they'd given them to her and then she got out, opened her parachute, got out the cigarettes and gone, "Oh, I didn't ask for a fucking lighter."
I'm a bit concerned by this because it's hard enough going through security with a prosthetic leg as it is. Without like all this going on, you know, I'm going to get there and it'll be like, sorry, you can't take that bottle of Timoteo through, that's too big. And also, sorry, we're going to have to make you put that prosthetic leg in a clear bag. I'm not putting my leg in as hold luggage.
The article continued to say the crew managed to restrain her and put her in handcuffs while the pilot made an emergency landing at Gatwick. But this is my favourite bit, because this would only ever happen in England. As she was taken from the plane, the passengers broke into a rendition of the Hokey Cokey. Well played, Britain. Well played. The raving father of two, labourer John, was quoted as saying last night, "We were coming back from Tunisia when this lady kicked off. She was off her face on drink." Obviously. Sean Avery, by the way, tweeted us to say, "Is it okay to throw a prosthetic leg at an air hostess?" And then Alex Brooker, "Have you ever thrown your leg in anger?"
That tweet came in from someone who used to be my mate. When I was on holiday in Croatia a couple of years ago, my brother Asher annoyed me, and look, I just went hell for leather and I lobbed it at him. I mean, look, it's an
take it off?
No, it was all like, yeah, no, it was kind of. I think when they were pulling me back, and then the leg kind of slipped off, and I thought, well, while I'm here, I mean, it's a real end play because I missed and then I was screwed. That's your last
And then
throw of the dice.
Did he?
Well, and the worst thing is if he chases you, you just go in circles.
If he picked up your leg and then kicked the shit out of you with your own leg, that's the lowest point of anyone's life.
Oh, that'd be a total Big Brother thing too, while he's hitting you with your leg going, "Why are you kicking yourself? Why are Alright, let's get on with the show. And as always, you can tweet us your Is It OK questions at The Last Leg using the hashtag Is It OK. For example, is it OK that one of Britain's most iconic piers was destroyed this week? No, it is not. Is it OK to hope that the next one to go is Piers Morgan? Now, the big Is It OK this week revolves around the story that has divided the world, as Ross McClellan asked us, is it OK to ask what the hell is happening in Gaza?
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, does he not know? He could read the news. Has he not? Has he just been going? Wow, 4 months without the last leg. I wonder what's going on in the world. Can I just say that this is probably the most awkward way to start a comedy show series of all the topics. The only way it would have been worse is if you'd come out with a wobble board.
After the things that were said before the show, you better clap. Now, most people on Twitter this week did ask us to simplify what's going on in the Middle East at the moment. So, look, clearly we're not qualified, but I'm going to do my best to put it in layman's terms. Basically, Israel and Palestine are like two brothers who both believe that when their dad passed away, they should inherit the house. Unfortunately, they both have two different versions of the will, each of which says they are entitled to the house. And a court has decided that the only solution is for them both to live in the same house. After years of arguing over who owns which room, Palestine is currently confined to the laundry, and Israel won't let them get to the fridge. The council can't do anything about it, the neighbours can't do anything about it, and the value of every house in the neighbourhood has dropped. That is the best way I can think of to describe what is going on. Now look, this is clearly a delicate subject, and we are live, and because we're live, Channel 4 have decided that should we get too close to saying anything controversial, I will hit this button, and we will immediately be taken off air. So, what do we think about Gaza?
Well, look, I mean...
you take this one, Alex.
I will. I've been reading a lot this week,
Yep.
and I've been giving it a lot of thought,
Yep.
and what I reckon they should do... That's how you sort it, easy.
Things did get worse today when a 72-hour ceasefire was called and it lasted less than 3 hours. The Israelis blamed Hamas, Hamas blamed the Israelis, 40 Palestinians were killed and an Israeli soldier was kidnapped. And at every turn, each side have said the same thing. They started it. Everyone is saying, someone needs to take these two kids aside and basically treat them like kids, really, and just go, Israel, Hamas, sit down. You there, stop poking each other. Hamas, stop launching rockets from schools and hospitals, you're putting children in danger. Israel, stop bombing schools and hospitals. Just because your brother's being a shit doesn't mean you have to be a shit as well. Now, both of you, go to your rooms and don't come out until you get along. Oh, and by the way, the thing is, you both believe in the same God. You both believe we all come from the same divine source of energy, and you both believe you come from the same piece of land. So why can't you just cling to the one basic tenet of your belief system that you have in common? It's a simple rule and one that your God would probably ascribe to. Don't be a dick! Adrian Lee said, is it okay for a sport governing body to tell a player not to wear Save Gaza wristbands in a match? Now, if you don't know, English cricketer Moeen Ali was told by the ICC this week that he had to remove his Save Gaza wristband.
I think it's all right, isn't it? No one gets their views from a cricketer. No one's going, wow. I'm just going to wait and see what the cricketers think. I'm going to make my judgment on the Iraq War once Ian Botham has picked his son. He's right about shredded wheat.
The thing is, no one's going to see it anyway unless it's on the slow-mo. The only person he's going to influence with that is the third umpire. So.
When the third umpire's decision is Save Gaza.
I think the problem is that the issue can't really be summarised by 2 words on a wristband. You know, even if you wore a headband, you could at least have Save Gaza, not endorsing the killing of innocent people, just hoping for peace. What's interesting is the whole thing has become a PR exercise for both sides. Now, while pro-Palestinians wear Save Gaza wristbands, a pro-Israeli Facebook page sprang up featuring a host of Israeli women cheering on their country's troops by emblazoning their buttocks and breasts with the phrase, I love IDF. There's one. Yep, and there's another.
It just looks like you've searched for a very niche.
Pretty sure I can see both the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
There you go. Who says we're afraid to deal with the big issue?
Catherine Trill said, is it okay that celebrities are being advised not to comment on the Gaza situation for fear of offending fans? This is an interesting one, because a whole bunch of celebs waded into the debate this week, then realised it was a lot deeper than they thought, and immediately waded back out again. Rihanna tweeted Save Gaza, then deleted it and tweeted for peace instead, as did One Direction singer Zayn Malik, who received death threats when he tweeted the Save Gaza hashtag.
The thing with Zayn Malik is, like, if he gets a new girlfriend, he'll get a load of death threats. It's nothing new for him.
Meanwhile, the friend of the show and voice of reason, Rivers, added her opinion to the debate this way.
So I'm trying to get celebrity reactions to what's going on with the Palestinians and Israelis right now.
Let me just tell you, if New Jersey were firing rockets into New York, we would wipe them out.
What about the civilian casualty rate?
Then don't put your goddamn things in private homes. They started it. You're all insane. They started it.
Now, the thing about this clip, there's so many things about that clip. One of the things is, it illustrates why it's so hard to find a solution, because each side is so polarised. The problem is, as soon as you give an opinion, you're seen to be endorsing the horrors of one side or the other. And let's be honest, both sides are guilty of some pretty terrible things. Now, I've read everything I can this week to try and make sense of it all. I've read The Times, The Telegraph, The Huffington Post, David Byrne's website, Jewish news blogs, and the Facebook status of every friend I have who has a political leaning. And I still don't know what to make of it. The only thing I read this week that makes any sense at all was a message that was retweeted yesterday by a friend of mine. It just came from a guy called Andrew Skegg, and it kind of crystallised an opinion I've been trying to put into words, and I think maybe this is the last word on the subject. It said simply, I am not pro-Palestinian. I am not pro-Israel. I am pro-humanity. Stop the killing. Weirdly, one of the security measures they have undertaken in Israel is to install a bomb shelter in the Israeli Big Brother house. You see, it's kind of hard to believe your way of life is under threat of being wiped out when you can still afford to throw 20 people in a house and film them for public entertainment.
That is a really grim day when you get evicted from that house, isn't it? When you get voted out of the bomb shelter,
But I thought, like, the thing with Big Brother is that they're not meant to know what's going on in the outside world. I'd say installing a bomb shelter might give away, oh, what's this week's task? Well, we're just going to see how quickly you can all get into this bomb shelter.
Then when Big Brother stops responding, that's when you know you're in trouble.
You're in trouble when you hear, oh, hi, it's Big Brother. Can I come into the diary room? Look, clearly the situation in Gaza is going to continue over the next few weeks, and as it does, we will try to make sense of it for you with all the dexterity of Mike Tyson sending a text message. So let's move on to a happier subject. Ebola! What, couldn't we have had an easy week? Our first week back, you give us Gaza and Ebola, for the love of God! So we're going to talk about the Commonwealth Games. Let's get on to the Commonwealth Games. Let's start with this tweet from Cy Trill, who said, "Is it okay that I Would Walk 500 Miles was played before a wheelchair race at the Commonwealth?"
This is what we signed up for.
And this is, do you know what, this is not unusual. Everyone, plays songs between races, and sometimes they just get it wrong. I remember being in Beijing for the 2008 Paralympics, watching the cycling, the paracycling, and there's people with one leg and no legs and no arms and everything, and just before the Black Eyed Peas song came on, and honestly, we're all sitting there, and suddenly someone just went, "Are you listening to this?" And it was just, they were singing, "Let's get retarded."
To be fair, there's no place where you should be playing that. It's not like you go into a room and go, "No, there's not, let's put it on."
And it doesn't matter what the song is. Like, any song is going to have a reference that you're going to go, well, that's not appropriate for disabled sport. You can't win. In fact, I think you should go the other way. I think you should have songs before the races that have more relevance than ever. If it's the 100 metres amputee race, Footloose. Visually impaired football, Blurred Lines.
There's one thing this show does, it's puns about the Paralympics.
You're not going to get better than Blurred Lines from me. I'm out.
Brianna Gillen said, "Is it okay that Usain Bolt said that the Commonwealth Games were shit and the Olympics were better, but now keeps trying to deny it?" This, of course, was according to an article in the Times during the week. And then John Carson said, "Is it okay to think that the Commonwealth Games are a bit shit?"
I'll take this one.
Okay.
The Commonwealth Games are a crock of shit. And that's where I'd stick the pole vault. It's like after a summer of sport, it's like the World Cup. It's like this lame. Do you know what it's like? When you go to a brilliant wedding, then the next day you have to do the barbecue afterwards, and you're like, even the best people aren't here. Basically, it's so random, the Commonwealth. You might as well just have a competition for countries that begin with a vowel. Right? All it is let's have a competition for people England could beat. That is all it is.
Once, I actually kind of agree with Josh. And the thing is, I don't understand how they pitched it at the start to some of the countries, because some of the countries are in the Commonwealth because we colonised them for slavery. So at what point did they go up to them and go, "Look, we're sorry about all that before, but do you fancy doing a sports day with us?"
Do you like badminton?
I realise there are people watching right now who've been watching us since the Paralympics going, "I thought they liked sport."
I like sport when all the good countries are competing.
I'm against you guys. I love the Commonwealth Games for a number of reasons. Firstly, Australia is a lot higher up the medal table than
You'd love anything Australia. If Australia were winning World War III, you'd be going, "This is brilliant."
There are Aussies in the room going, "Yeah." And I think everyone in Britain should take note. This is what the Olympic table will look like if Scotland decide to separate from you.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're not quite so sure. In fact, you know what? That's the poll tonight. Are the Commonwealth Games a bit shit? Send us your tweets at The Last Leg, hashtag either bit shit or hashtag not shit. And we will count them up. In fact, I love this Commonwealth Games so much, I went online during the week and I bought a piece of memorabilia from the opening ceremony.
God, you're a loser.
Honestly, it was 60 quid.
What did you buy? John Barrowman?
In the opening ceremony, there were a whole bunch of chairs being passed around, and
that is how good the Commonwealth game is.
I don't really feel like I missed out not watching it. There's some chairs being passed around, some Tunnocks tea cakes.
This is not going to look like much, but I have the official certificate to prove that it was actually used in the opening ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the chairs from the opening ceremony.
I mean, look, I know we're open for the debate, are the Commonwealth Games shit or not, but I just want to point out, that's the official chair.
By the way, that is actually the real chair.
I'm going to be sitting on a real Commonwealth chair.
Yeah.
That's from a sports day.
It's good, isn't it? God, it's like, how much did you pay?
60 quid.
You've been done.
You paid 60. And this is a real Commonwealth chair.
Yep.
I mean,
Is it
you
comfortable?
should have bought John Barrowman. I could have been sitting on John Barrow, not like that.
Now, to be fair to Usain Bolt, he said that he didn't say the Commonwealth Games were a bit shit, and he has had a tough week with some rather ridiculous questions.
We were wondering if we could get a Channel 10 selfie with you. We thought the Queen did it, so we thought you might be a good shot. Can I just ask you what your opinion is about the independence referendum here in Scotland that's coming up in a couple of months' time? Have you got any thoughts?
Your view on the situation in Israel and Gaza right now?
Because what kind of underqualified celebrity would give their view on Israel and Gaza? Hey, Adam.
Yeah, I know. What did the woman expect him to say when she asked about Scottish independence? Like he's going to go, oh, well, actually, funny you should ask that, because when I quit athletics, I want to succeed Alex Salmon.
All right, it's time to bring on tonight's guests. They are three of the stars of the hit TV show The Inbetweeners, whose first movie made over £50 million worldwide. They're back with a sequel, The Inbetweeners 2. Give it up for Simon Bird, Joe Thomas and Blake Harrison.
Tell you what, I'm making full use of this Commonwealth chair now. I'm worth 60 quid alone.
Now, lads, as you know, we ask the big questions on this show, so I'm going to start with one for you. Commonwealth Games, bit shit or not shit?
I think they're all right. I mean, I think I was watching the Commonwealth Games today. I think if you're, for example, the best distance runner in Gibraltar, say, the Commonwealth Games are quite handy because because when else can you really compete? I mean, I think if you're an athlete, it's probably kind of a big deal.
Your only chance.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree. The Commonwealth is literally like it's a sort of it was what the British Empire was turned into essentially. So to a certain extent, it was countries that were sort of beaten by Britain at one point. So it must be a little bit annoying if you've won a medal and then your flag is sort of hoisted up and it's just got the Union Jack on. We won. Oh no, you haven't.
Yeah, and on the other hand, it must be really awkward to have created all these colonies around the world and then they come back and beat you in it. I'm firmly in the not shit camp, as we've already established. And look, how can you not be in favour of the Commonwealth Games when they throw up captions like this? That's a question.
That's the question.
That's the question for the ages, people. Can Richard Funk?
And there's the answer there. It's 3. That's a score.
Richard Funk.
We've got to
call him Dick Funk.
I've got a terrible case of Dick Funk. Should have had 8 points.
Someone even tweeted in to say, "Is it okay to ask can Richard Funk?" What was great though, it's purely because Canada is the prefix, the CAN, just meant there were other athletes that became questions as well. There was can John Moonlight, our personal favourite, can Victoria Poon.
Can John Moonlight? Well, I mean, he said to me he would take me back to Highbury for 30 quid from Soho, so the answer is yes.
And well, look, I think before we're going to talk to you more about your movie after the break. We've got lots more questions for you, but we need to answer this one question: can Richard Funk? Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out. Cue the music. Bring out Richard Funk. answered that question, Richard Canfunk, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with more of The Last Leg in a minute, and the cast of The Inbetweeners too, and we'll answer the question, is Claire balding? See you very soon.
We buy any